talking about Trinity, I think we're continuing to transform our offering. We're really exploring new uses of technology while always maintaining our high standards of academic integrity.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Power of Your Voice, the Trinity podcast in Latin America. In this series, we will invite influential professionals in the world of language teaching and learning to share experiences, projects, and new trends that can inspire you in your daily practice. Are you ready for this new episode? Martin Oetegenn is Language and TESOL Manager at Trinity College London, responsible for overseeing Trinity's digital content to support teaching and learning. He presents monthly webinars for language teachers and talks regularly at TLT conferences around the world. He has been an English language teacher since 2004, working in a variety of contexts around the world, including private language schools, primary schools, universities, and in company. Since becoming a teacher trainer in 2011, he has worked as a consultant, dividing his time between teaching, training, writing, and examining. He has specialized in online learning, writing and delivering courses for a variety of language schools and universities. In addition to working on initial training courses, he also delivers bespoke training courses focusing on younger learners and CLIL. Hi everyone, welcome to this first episode of the second season of The Power of Your Voice. Today we have a very special guest, our colleague Martin from the team in the UK office. Martin, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Emilia. It's really great to be here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Looking forward to sharing some exciting news from Trinity with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us today. This is our first episode in English, so we will be sharing this episode with a wider community, not only with our community and audience from Latin America, but from other parts of the world as well, with our colleagues from the different countries that we operate in. So, and I know, rumor has it, that Martin speaks a little bit of Spanish, a lot actually, I think.
Un poquito.
Un poquito, so
Sí.
If you want to
Claro,
say
sí.
something or
Gracias.
greet our audience in Latin America, feel free.
Bueno. Sí, bueno, hablo un poco porque viví en Argentina, pero vamos a hablar en inglés, ¿no? Por hoy, porque no tengo mucha confianza ahora.
Oh my God, that was amazing! You even have the Argentinian accent.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was lovely.
I love it. I love
Speaking
Argentina.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's true. We always speak in English, don't we?
Speak in English, and you know I have my mate here with me.
I missed that too. Lovely. I should have got one for me as well next time.
Martin, so the name of this episode is Take the Next Step with Trinity. And we want you to tell our audience all the changes that Trinity has been going through over the last few years, especially after the pandemic. We always mention the pandemic because it was such a breaking point, but some of the changes that we are experiencing as a company have been going on for quite some time now, but the pandemic kind of accelerated the process of change. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think there's not a single industry or profession that wasn't affected and changed by the pandemic. And I think the fact that there was a big move to digital, to online, a lot of, certainly Trinity and a lot of other educational institutions were already doing lots of work moving in that direction because we could see that, that's the way it was going. But I think it took everyone by surprise quite how sudden it was, wasn't it? And we saw, I think with one of the things that I found really inspiring, I guess, working with all of you and the rest of our colleagues around the world during the pandemic was how we quickly adapted and started doing lots of webinars about teaching online and supporting our community with that. I remember when it was just things like, how can you log on to Zoom, or, how do you go do breakout rooms, all of those kind of things. And We sort of went on to launch Teach English Online, that kind of qualification to support teachers with teaching online. And as a lot of teachers in Argentina will know, we've started delivering our English language exams online as well, with sort of VC video conference options. So yeah, it's really we're adapting in so many ways, and it's really exciting. And yeah, there's lots of particularly exciting developments this year, which I'd love to talk to you about as well.
Sure. Yeah, it's been a ride, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been experiencing lots of changes in a very very quickly, and I think we're beginning to process everything we've been going through, not only as an organization but in our profession as well. Teachers had to adapt, students had to adapt, families had to adapt, and we had to learn a lot about technology and new ways of communicating, new ways of teaching, just changing the way we approached teaching in general, or even us in our profession in contact with teachers. So yeah, it's been 4 years, but it looks like less. So we're still adapting.
It feels like yesterday.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday. Yeah, but I think we've learned a lot and we've grown a lot as well. And some things won't be back as the way they were before, right? They are here to stay, and they've become a part of our reality now.
Yeah, that's right. I think we're having to really adapt to the constantly evolving world, aren't we? And I think as educators, we have a responsibility for the next generation, and in terms of the education we provide, and that includes assessment. It has to reflect the actual world that they're living in. So that's being reflected, I think, across Trinity's portfolio, even looking at drama or performance, where we have acting for screen, a new qualification now, really reflecting that kind of rise in the demand for that type of acting in particular, as opposed to maybe theatre but I think that's reflected as well in the way that the digital exams, like digital grades and diplomas, are recorded using a mobile phone or other sort of device to film your performance at home. And of course, most actors or musicians will tell you that that's how they're doing their castings these days. You know, it's mostly done a lot over the phone initially. Maybe there's a follow-up in-person experience at some point. So we want our assessments to reflect that real life experience. And I think it's also about increasing accessibility as well to the exams. That's one thing that we've seen, you know, the pandemic, of course, everybody had to react to the need for an online version of an exam. But one of the benefits and the positives we've seen since those have come along is that it's opened up the exams to perhaps students or teachers that wouldn't have been able to have an assessment with Trinity, you know, due to their location perhaps being a little bit too difficult to reach or whatever it might be. So yeah, I think there's, of course, as you said, there's always challenges, and really, I really admire the way that teachers always adapt. You know, like we were just saying, how everyone adapted to teaching online so quickly, and it's really impressive. And we're seeing it now with AI again, aren't we? You know, it's sort of another huge tidal wave that's everyone's having to very quickly learn about. But I find it really impressive and inspiring how everybody always seems to rise to the challenge, don't they?
Yeah, and I think the challenge, as we were saying before, is being flexible. I mean, we always talk about these 21st century skills in our students, or how to teach them those skills. But I always think about those skills as a professional ourselves. I mean, so as a teacher myself, am I being flexible with all these changes? Am I adapting? Am I reflecting on what's happening and getting out of my own self, let's say, and thinking about the students I'm teaching and those skills they will need for the future? Not only me as a professional, but I have to learn all these things for my profession and for them, because they will be using AI in this case, or more technology or different tools and different skill sets that I am currently using, because we are preparing them for a future that's unpredictable. and that we don't know where we're going in a way. The possibilities are endless with technology nowadays. So we need to pack them, as we say, with a huge set of skills and soft skills, not only because we've been, as teachers, very focused on the typical grammatical, lexical, phonological skills of the language itself, in the case of English language. But from the preparation of our exams, we always make a point on this other set of skills that they need. So they're very important for us in Trinity, and this is where we're going, right?
Yeah. And I think there are sometimes sort of almost surprising results as well. And like, for example, we, as I'm sure you know, we published a report recently, some research on slang words that teachers are asked by their students to teach. And, you know, as a teacher yourself, you know, I think I always learned that it's not really worth spending much time teaching slang because it's so specific to like one country or one area, and it might be fun or whatever, but unless the student's gonna live in that place and need to understand it. But it turns out that nowadays, because of things like Netflix and YouTube, where everyone has access to the same entertainment, really, suddenly students are saying, I want to know what this word means, or you know, they're using different words. And so it's sort of like when you keep your ear to the ground and you notice these developments that are sort of happening due to this kind of crazy digital revolution we're in, some of the things take you by surprise. You know, and you mentioned about vocabulary and grammar, you know, teaching those discrete items. I think we're seeing as well like a kind of real move at the moment in English language teaching, a real focus on emergent language. Like we've seen some really great people like Danny Norrington Davies, Richard Chin, that they did a really good book recently about that. And it's sort of, I think there's so many exciting developments in the English language teaching world. It's not all doom and gloom and, you know, being scared. But I think on that point, I think a lot of teachers sometimes feel a bit intimidated by all these changes. And because you don't have the agency necessarily where you think, okay, I want to go and learn about AI, or I want to get into teaching online, these things just sort of happen and you've got no choice. You have to get on board with it. I think that's why at Trinity, we wanted to kind of conduct research into teachers' attitudes to AI and find out exactly how they were feeling, and that could kind of inform us and help us with our kind of academic integrity and our ethos at Trinity of supporting teachers. And I think, I'm sure you'd agree, because I know you're very actively involved in supporting teachers on the ground. You know, it's something that I really love about working with Trinity, that's part of our ethos, and we want to kind of be there with the teachers on the journey, and it's through like a love of what we do, a love of English language teaching, just trying to just give people as much support as we can. And you know, we've there's a couple of really exciting things, like we've just launched a new lesson plan generator, NoteLab English, which I don't know if you had a chance to play around with yet, Amelia, but I've been using it for about a month or so now with I only teach one class a week at the moment, I must confess, but I have to design all the materials for it, and been using NoteLab English for about a month with that, and it's really saved me a lot of time. It's an AI lesson plan generator, but it's because it's made by English teachers for English teachers. It's got the prompts like the Common European Framework, the CEFR levels, or exams like ISE, GESE, and you can really kind of, the prompts get you to enter exactly the information that an English teacher's thinking about when they're planning a lesson, and then it generates a plan for you and some materials. And that's been like a really good example of how I think Trinity helps teachers, because you think, wow, thanks, you just saved me 10 minutes
hours.
or a day, you know, whatever it might, hours in a week. You know, it can potentially save. So
last week we were at an event in Tucumán, one of the provinces in Argentina, and we were presenting this new AI tool for the teachers, because it's also free of charge. It's accessible for everyone, even if you're not a Trinity Center and you want to use the app or the platform, let's say. So we were showing the platform, and we were discussing, before that, I invited them to discuss how much extra time do you spend working on planning, assessing, preparing admin work, everything outside from your actual class and what you're paid to do, because that's another issue. We do a lot of work outside our working hours. So any tool that helps, that's why AI is such a big deal right now, because it makes our job easier, faster. So anything we can use and that is reliable, because we also know that one of the challenges is to see or take the time to check if the information or the material generated by AI is reliable or not, and we have to spend some time checking. But with this kind of platform
that's essential,
generated by prepared or designed by the Trinity team, you know for sure that everything that's generated in there will align to either GESI or IS exam or the Common European Framework level that you selected for your age group, the amount of minutes, the duration of the lesson. I mean, it's a great tool, and I think teachers will benefit from it.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, you mentioned there some of the, the concerns that teachers rightly have about the reliability of AI, and that was one of the findings of the report that we published, which perhaps we can share some details of in the show notes. So I'm sure you've been sharing that already with your teachers, but that really showed that teachers were very concerned about the reliability of AI. I think it was sort of more than half of the teachers we polled, and they were particularly worried about student misuse of AI, and presumably because of that lack of reliability, you can make that link, because if students are using it for important work and it's very and then perhaps it's not accurate. But at the same time, so many people had I think at the time of the report, the survey was done, which was November 23. It was about a quarter of teachers had tried using AI for lesson planning and for materials creation. So I'm sure that's come along a lot more since November by this point, 6 months later or whatever it is, 7 months later or more. So yes, I think that's sort of really interesting that was reflected in the report. And I do think that it's worth saying that NoteLab English, like any other of these newer AI tools, it's powered by AI. So there is the possibility that some of the information that's produced might not be accurate still. So I think that's important, because teachers are not being replaced. Like we are very pivotal in this process. You still, you're the one who puts in all the information that you want NoteLab English to use to generate the plan, and then you evaluate it with your kind of critical eye, just the same way you'd evaluate a lesson plan you found on the internet, and you think, hold on, that's a typo, or actually I don't agree with that, or I'm going to do this differently.
Maybe the warmer will take longer than 5 minutes, or I want to change this up, but I really like the main activity. You can, you can make it bespoke for your group and your lesson, but just the possibility of having like the first draft, something just made for you that you can change up later on, add more, change an activity that maybe you didn't like, change some sentences. But we've also, we were discussing this the other day with the teachers at the event. We've run out of ideas. That's the main thing, right? We've been teaching the same, maybe you've been teaching the same grade for several years and you've just run out of ideas. So you need more input and a fresh activity. So from our side, we're always trying to give teachers new tools and new resources so that they can make their lessons more fun or more creative, at least.
And talking of those tools, we've talked about NoteLab English, which is so exciting, but Skill Up is another really great innovation that's come out of Trinity College London in the last year or so. And I know that you've been talking about that a lot as well with teachers around Argentina. But I think that, again, it sort of harnesses the power of AI. And it creates, it's for younger learners in particular, and it helps them develop their vocabulary, their pronunciation and reading, receptive skills. and it uses gamification techniques that really engage the learner. And what we've found from the feedback from teachers so far is that they're perhaps setting their students perhaps say 15 minutes on Skill Up, and for homework, and saying just do a couple of stories, read and listen to them. And they're finding that they're doing like twice as much, because they just get hooked into the, I think it's that they want to see the writing turn green, which is when you've pronounced it correctly according to the speech recognition technology in the app. And so, as a teacher, that's, especially of younger learners, that's exactly what you want, isn't it? Something that's going to engage them in their homework in particular, because that can be sometimes a challenging thing to get them motivated about. And it's great, it's got a really nice teacher dashboard, which is a sort of really nice user-friendly interface for the teacher. So really, really exciting. And
it's very exciting.
Definitely.
It's been very well received here in Argentina. So hopefully more and more teachers will start to use it, because we were discussing the other day as well. If you start to add up all those 10-15 minutes that students use the app after school every single day, because it's a competition with themselves. It's not, they don't know what the other students are doing, because they download the app on their tablet or phones, but the teacher has access to all the students' information, and in the dashboard, as you said, it shows the areas that probably they need to improve, or most students are struggling with. We were in the webinar that Anna Bennett, who is the author in the Italian team of this app, she was sharing with us that, for example, in Italy, students have problems or difficulties, challenges with specific sounds because of their native language. So it will be different from different countries. The sounds they need to work on, or the challenges they will face. So it's a competition with themselves, because they want to beat the app, they want to get another point, they want to make everyone look green, because it works in a traffic light mode, red, yellow, and green. So so it's again this inner motivation, and they're doing it for fun and for themselves. And when you start adding up all those minutes, it's a lot of time of exposure to English language. So
and it's also really fantastic from a differentiation perspective, because obviously, again, teachers in primary and secondary schools, it's a lot of work trying to differentiate the needs of your quite large group. And to, if you're trying to set reading or vocabulary homework, just trying to prepare material that's going to challenge the learners the right amount. So maybe, normally you might prefer something a bit simpler, something a bit more challenging, but having something like Skill Up as a tool means that you're able to create that kind of personalized learning path for the learner. So it's great, and that's using AI to do that. So something else that we're very excited about this year at Trinity is ISE Digital, which is coming very soon, and it's going to have that same academic rigor that you are used to with our English language exams, but we're really sort of looking at innovative ways of testing the 4 skills, and really improving the convenience of the exam. So looking at things like accessibility, more frequent exam dates, shorter sort of booking lead times, and obviously it's a digital exam, so the opportunity to take that online in an exam center. So we're really excited about that. And something I know that teachers and candidates will be very thrilled to hear as well is that the certificates will be available digitally from 3 to 5 days, working days after the exam. So I think that's a really, really exciting development. And the fact, I think I mentioned already, but it will be one of the shortest 4 skills tests on the market. So it'll only be 105 minutes long in total. So really great for the student and for the teachers as well. So we're really excited.
Very exciting. So Martin, to finish off this episode, I wanted to ask you to reflect on, where do you think we're heading, not only as a company at Trinity, but in general, as an exam board, in the assessment field, in education? Where do you think we're going? What does the future brings?
Wow, I would love to say I know that or think I know that, but if anything, the last couple of years I think have taught us all that we really struggle to predict some of these things that are coming our way. But definitely, talking about Trinity, I think we're continuing to transform our offering. We're really exploring new uses of technology while always maintaining our high standards of academic integrity. So, we're doing lots of things like conducting research, partnering with artificial intelligence experts, harnessing those gamification techniques that we talked about. And it's really all about developing new tools that empower and motivate language learners. So I certainly know that we'll be doing much more of that to come. So yeah, I think expect more of that. And as I mentioned before, we're at Trinity, it's really a key part of our ethos, this commitment to teachers, to supporting teachers. So we'll be looking for more and more innovative ways to do that. So yeah, lots of exciting developments to come. And I don't know, I think I'm trying to think about trends in English language teaching, because I've just got back from TEFL recently, which was, really big English language teaching conference. Was, got to see lots of really exciting and interesting talks. There was a lot of things about AI, a lot of things, lots of different tools and talks from teachers about how they're using it. And so I think that AI is definitely not going anywhere, and hopefully, we're just going to get more and more creative with it, how we're harnessing that power. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what's coming next. But yes, I don't know. What about you? What do you think's coming down the line? Curious to know.
No, it's definitely very exciting. And yeah, I have the same feeling. I don't know where we're going, but I think we're heading in the right direction. We're going where the world is going. And I think we're starting to set some trends. We're not following behind. We are up there at the front, helping teachers or developing tools for teachers so that they can use right now, right away in their classrooms, today and tomorrow. It's not, of course, we offer different kinds of preparation material and something they can look forward to analyzing and adapting, but also ready to use materials that it's what they need right now. Something to make their lives and jobs easier. That's what we've been discussing lately. So definitely on the right track.
We are indeed. Yeah, it feels like an exciting time, really, doesn't it?
Very exciting.
For Trinity and for all of us. Yeah.
Martin, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Next time I'll try and be there in person so we can share a mate.
Please, by all means. Muchas gracias, Martin.
Muchas gracias.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.